Welcome to the Glenn Beck program. Tonight, we're going to talk about the education system in this country. I have an audience full of college-age Americans who are chomping at the bit to have their voice heard and to have their chance up to bat. But first, we have, it says 8, but I don't think I erased this yesterday, and I don't have an eraser here. We actually only have 7 shows left, 6 after tonight's program. And I have so much to cover. I want to tell you that I want to show you something. Come on over here. I want to show you something that we're going to cover next week that everyone said that I was crazy for. Remember, this is back in January. They'll never put a caliphate together. Next week, I'm going to show you this. This is about the caliphate. This is a book printed here in the United States about how we can put a caliphate together. And I love this, Halt This Conspiracy of High Treason. The goals here of this, which is the same group that you're going to see here in a minute, is to dismantle the Jewish state completely, uprooting it so no Jew remains or is ever allowed in Jerusalem. But remember, I'm the crazy one. I want to show you this. We found this today. This is from a conference that is coming up in the next couple of weeks in Great Britain. Same group that did one here in America. Remember the word, what is it, Khalifa or Caliph? Is caliphate. That means one global Islamic government that will look over the entire world. Watch what they're pushing for now in Great Britain. Our vision for change. If there's one thing that America and the whole world needs to understand, there is a competing force and vision for change. In the Middle East and in our own country and all around the world, there is a vision of a caliphate. It is not nuts to prepare and to monitor and be warned. Because, as we will show you next week, there are forces, just as we told you, radicals, Islamists, communists, and socialists have gathered together to destroy the West and destroy Israel. We're putting some things together that will prove that absolutely without a shadow of doubt for next week's program. I want to show you this one piece we just got from Louis Farrakhan in a speech. I want you to hear and get this through your neighbor's head. There is a competing vision for how things are run. The world is now up for grabs because America is weak. If Israel falls, ask yourself this question: will it embolden the Islamic world and all that have stood against America and the idea that man could rule himself, or will they say, oh, no big deal? There are more people on this planet now that believe America's days are over than believe America's days and brightest days are ahead. Listen to the warning of Louis Farrakhan.
All of this fictitious dream of a few that rule the many, that they will continue their rule, their time is up. I'll say it again, loud and clear. Your time to rule is up, and your rule will end in war.
More next week. A lot to do tonight. Let's go. Well, hello America. Welcome to the program. We have a lot to talk about tonight. Last night we talked about energy, and there's a lot to talk about with energy. We talked about the administration's hostile policy towards our most important energy sources. Our economy is about to crumble, and they are making it in Washington harder to gain access to energy that we have. They're closing down our coal plants because of regulation. We get, by the way, 50% of our electricity from coal. They have made oil permits very difficult to get, and we are in the midst of an energy crisis. A lot of this is self-imposed. We have a ton of untapped energy resources that we could use to help, but for some reason, we refuse to be independent. Tonight, I want to talk to you about another untapped resource, great minds. Great minds, and the people of this country who have first retired. All of that knowledge, all of that skill, all of that experience, wasting away to what? So you can hit a little white ball around the field, sit on the beach? What are you doing? I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but what else is new? The boat called America is sinking, and we're a little short on life rafts. Could you help? Could you get into the game? And I don't mean necessarily go back to work. I mean, could you help others? Could you mentor someone? I don't want to talk about the untapped resource tonight of the retired. I want to talk about somebody else that wants to get into the game. The other side of the retirees, the youth, the 25 and under crowd. Something a lot of people that in America won't be willing to admit, but I will, those of us who are in our 40s, 50s, and above. In many ways, we failed our kids. Mainly because we didn't know. We just didn't see it coming. As parents, we had this bizarre expectance that somehow or another our kids will just feel the way we do. They'll learn all of this stuff through some sort of osmosis. And America will just always be here. So we gave our kids a gentle shove out into the world, sending them to the wolves without a clue. We let the school, we let television, Sesame Street, society, anyone but us raise our kids because we wanted to have it all. It was a lie, and we bought it. Now our kids don't have the same understanding that we do. And they're entering a very different world unprepared because everybody got a stupid trophy. Now, we bought into the lie that a college education is the only chance for success. And if you're without it, you're screwed. Before the elites have a cow, I do believe that there are many things that you have to do that require extensive studies. This morning we were talking about this new jet. I don't know if anybody saw it, but there's this new jet that they're now saying can fly at incredible speeds, or they're working on it. It's, I don't know, about 30 years away or so. And we were talking about at what speed does steel break down? At what point does metal break down? Do we have a new alloy that can withstand those extreme conditions? Well, you have to have a college education to be able to even answer that question. The people pushing the limits are not, just didn't find themselves on the street at a McDonald's and all of a sudden they're like, I like birds and big shiny things in the sky. I'll make something fly fast. You do need a little higher understanding. But at the same time, we endorse an educational system now that is increasingly only about memorization. Dates. It's not about critical thinking. It's about passing a test. A system that ushers high school seniors into college while only 12% demonstrate a solid grasp on their nation's history. And then we just repeat the process at college. Only this time, everybody who can graduate and just recite dates, now they owe hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it's only getting worse. The cost of a college education is rapidly rising, far more than the cost of inflation, more than even the cost of health care, but I don't hear a peep about it in the media. When I adopted my son, Rafe, he's 6 years old now. My wife and I, we got together with a financial advisor and we tried to be responsible. And we said, okay, so how much do we have to put away every month to save up for college for him? And we thought we were way ahead of the curve. We were like, hey, he's just been born, huh? The financial advisor said, well, at the cost of an education, the way it's increasing now, you should put away the full amount now, and you may have to add more when he's ready to go to college. You got to be kidding me. Except you don't hear a word about that. Something else people don't ever say is, does everybody need a $50,000 education? Do you need to go to Harvard, Yale, Columbia? Is that really? I mean, what's wrong with learning a trade? What's wrong with an education that isn't Ivy League? What's wrong with an apprenticeship? Is that not the best way to learn? To actually watch people do the thing that you want to do. Watch them, learn from them day in and day out. This administration has now made it tougher for even interns to find an internship. This is not only hurting the companies of our country, it is hurting the youth of America because they are losing invaluable experience. Almost everything I learned worth value, I learned at someone's side, watching them. If you've ever seen the show Deadliest Catch, it's some of the hardest working people you'll ever see. These are sea fishermen. One of the captains who recently passed away, Phil, once talked about how he got into the business. And he got his start by going down to the docks as a teenager and begging to get work. He actually did it, and it worked. He had this crazy idea that he would work for free just to learn because he knew the experience would pay off. But we don't teach that anymore. The system is broken. Tonight, we're going to talk to the untapped resource. Find out how they feel, because that's what we're supposed to do. Let's listen. Let's find out how everybody feels. No, let's really not. We'll find out how they feel, and then let's see if anybody has a plan. See if anybody has an idea. See if anybody's doing anything about it. See if anybody has any ideas. Also, we're going to show you an 11-year-old tonight, somebody who's actually going, well, I can make a difference. He's 11. So if you're 40, you might ask yourself, what the heck is wrong with me if the 11-year-old thinks he can make a difference? Why aren't you? Let's talk to the untapped resource of America. Okay, who has massive debt? Okay, who believes that massive debt is really going to pay off? Come on, somebody. Nobody? Not a soul. Tom.
Well, for me, I think it'll pay off. It's an investment. I'm paying now for the education, which will help me earn that money back at some point down the road, or at least I'm hoping that it will be earned back at some point.
Who went to college to find your way? I'm going to figure out what I want to do. Okay. Allison, in the third row, you did that?
I did.
Yeah. Did it work out for you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Except I ended up choosing a profession that's kind of hard to make money. I am a theater major. And
oh. There's a lot of money in that.
Yeah.
That's good.
I mean, I love what I do.
That's
but
good.
It's going to be one of those things that's hard to find work to pay off those debts and to ensure security later on.
May I ask you, Allison,
Yes.
you graduated from college?
Yes.
Okay. If I said to you, hey, Allison, I want to sell you a house today for $100,000, what would you say?
I can't afford it.
Okay. You can't afford it. I can give you loans. Don't worry about it. And you can pay very small amounts. Don't worry. We'll make it affordable for you. I just want to sell you this house. Get into this house. You got to have a house. If you don't have a house, where are you going to live? You got to have a house. Everybody has to have a house.
It's true. It's true.
You want a house? Yes. So you're going to have a house, and I'm going to pay for. I'm going to help you pay for it. You just have to pay very small. Okay.
I'm skeptical.
You're skeptical, sure.
Yeah.
But would you not also say maybe, okay, well, if I have to have a house, what would you ask? Payment?
I'd ask payment. What's the interest?
Okay.
Like.
How about where is it?
Yes.
How about
where is it? And
What?
is
How
it
many
clean?
bedrooms? Does it even have a kitchen?
Yeah.
Nobody would go out. I've never, ever gone out and spent $100,000 on anything that I hadn't known exactly what I wanted and what I wanted it for. I mean, nobody goes out and says, you know what? Well, I'm going to go out and buy a house. And then just pick a house in some random city, in some random country with God knows how many bedrooms or even a kitchen. Does anybody think that that's what's happening to our society with education when you spend $100,000 or more? Brian?
To a degree, I think it is. I talk to people my age all the time who they ask me what I'm into. I say radio, TV. I'm doing radio shows at Monmouth University, and I'm getting heavily involved. And I'll ask them, what are you studying in college? What are you doing extracurricular? And they say, I'm not really sure what I want to do. And these are seniors in college. I'm not sure what I want to do, but I know I need to go to college. So I'm thinking, you're spending thousands of dollars and you don't even know what you want to do, and your time's almost up in college.
Anybody know anybody who is going to graduate school just to placehold? Raj,
Actually,
down here in front?
Yeah, I know a lot of people that are going to grad school for the simple fact of, well, I don't have anything else to do. Might as well kill time and hope the economy's better when I graduate grad school. I know a lot of people are doing that.
What happens when they get to the end and they're now more in debt? I mean, that's an expensive placeholder. You could go to the library every day and probably rent a sweet house on a beach and end up with less debt and more knowledge at the end of your years in graduate school and be in better condition. Yes?
I think most students go to college for the purpose of getting a job after college, and a lot of kids don't know what they're doing when they go to college, and a lot of people do figure out what they want to do in life when they're in college. But, I don't think kids are so motivated to do, or they don't even realize what they can do with themselves because they're so set in line with a system that tells them they have to get a job, and the only way they can get a job is through college. And
Who believes that? Who believes that the only way you can get a job? Sally, you believe that? The only way you can get a job is through college?
Absolutely. I think, unfortunately, it's playing within the rules for now and trying to stay. I mean, I could tell you I'm an example of someone who has definitely, education has become so institutionalized in a way that it's definitely failed me beyond belief. I mean, my GPA does not say anything about who I am. I mean, I founded an organization called the Youth International Empowerment. We went to Egypt this past December. We rallied young youth in Tahrir Square. We marched with the people, and that doesn't say anything about my GPA. It didn't overlook that at all.
So what does that tell you?
This is my 12th time changing my major, actually, and I'm a senior in college. And I don't even think I'm going to be able to graduate on time, which means I'm going to be spending another year paying for college.
If you don't believe you can make it in America without a college education, you're wrong. I have. And I know many very successful people. You know what you need? Who's seen the Green Lantern? By the way, don't recommend it. It's horrible. Has anybody seen it? Anybody seen it? Oh, you guys are so much smarter. That's why you need a college education. I went. And I saw it. You know what the power of the Green Lantern light is? The power is imagination with will. It's the best superhero out there. Imagination and will. If you imagine it and you will it, if you don't give up, you'll do it, especially if there's more than one. Especially if there's more than one of you. Just do it. You have to be smart. Jonathan.
I don't want to say this as if it's something so easy, but the truth is our nation was founded on the principle of entrepreneurship, and we can do anything by ourselves. We don't need somebody to employ us. We can come up with an idea. We can be innovators. We can invent. What do you think people are doing around the world? Waiting for people to offer them jobs? We have to go out and think and imagine, like you said, and come up with our own ideas and be leaders in this world again.
I have to tell you guys, would you say, who thinks that your generation has less opportunity than my generation did? Less opportunity? Good for you that didn't raise your hand. I think you have more opportunity because you have access. I remember the fax machine. I remember honestly, do you know the guys who started FedEx? Do you know that they couldn't get a loan? Do you know why they couldn't get a loan? No bank would give them a loan to start their company. Do you know why? Underage? Underage? No. Quote from every bank, like 8 banks, nobody needs anything overnight. Okay? The world has completely changed. You have instant access and can network with people all around the world. That's unique. It provides you with a unique opportunity if you choose it. Back in a second.